And I had a question for Sharif. Like, you've also, you were on a network television show for a really long time, and now it's a cable show. Like, do you find as if there's still a huge difference in terms of, how shows are treated? Because I feel as if, there's always talk about like, oh, well, in one you can, curse more, and one you can do this. But it just seems, everything still comes down to storytelling.
We can curse on the show? We have to talk to
You
Jeff
can go a little saltier.
But as far as I've seen, just as a viewer, not even as an actor, I mean, the shows on cable are great, great writing, great creativity. Sure, some channels, FX had a little more grit or what have you, but I mean, USA, great shows. And so I think whatever gap has, historically been seen, I think it's kind of closing up, so.
And is something like, increasing viewers, like an increasing number of viewers are watching things like, on Hulu or online. Like, is that something that you guys actively think about, as you go about these things, or not really? You're just looking for eyeballs?
I think that's a huge question about the industry in general and where we are headed with entertainment. And but this is where, at least I speak for myself, it's easy to just say, oh, doesn't matter what screen they see us on, I just act. Fortunately, that's all I have to think about. There are some other people I know who are racking their heads thinking, how can we make money off of somebody watching it on their iPad as opposed to in the living room?
We do hear anecdotally that a lot of people do watch the show by time shifting, I guess, if that's still what it's called. When we get our DVR Plus numbers in after the broadcast, they go up tremendously. So I'm a firm believer in it as a result.
I don't watch anything as it happens anymore.
Yeah,
No, I watch
think about
everything
it.
on my DVR.
No, I know.
On my Slingbox, on my iPad.
Yeah, exactly. She's the tech savvy.
You're the tech savvy geek right here.
She's wired.
Well, I guess speaking of like, being tech savvy, like I know like a lot of people from the show are like on Twitter, and is that something that the network encourages you to do, or is it just kind of like fun?
The network or Jeff Easton? Well, is it a lot of people, or is it just Jeff Easton?
Tiffany is on Twitter.
Is she?
Yeah, so she's like waiting for my baby, It's like,
Are you serious?
I am. She literally just like Twittered today. It's like waiting for my
I
baby.
felt so privileged when she and I were texting today about, I haven't had it yet, I haven't.
Meanwhile.
She's
I think it's still a thing. Like, look, you can rent, Wizard of Oz whenever you want to, but still, it's like that night. Oh, Wizard of Oz is on TV tonight.
Right.
There's still, that will always be. I don't know. I mean, I can't say it'll always be because who knows. But to me, that just maybe as an elderly person, I just feel like. Like that will always be a thing. Like, oh, what time is the show on? We're gonna go watch the show. Like.
I think it goes back to the event of it, and and just not to get too philosophical, but that sense of community and knowing that a lot of other people are watching it that night.
Right. Are you watching this right now? Right. Yeah.
You can share.
One of the things I've loved hearing from people is that they sit down with their family and watch the show together, because there aren't a lot of guns, there's not tremendous violence, there aren't a lot of deaths. It's Jeff and the network have done a great job of creating an intelligent procedural that's not gory or explicit in any way, and so I've gotten a lot of feedback from people on the street or wherever who just said they sit down with their whole family and watch the show, which I think is, to me, that's like kind of my favorite thing that I've heard.
Yeah, it's great. Well, we had that discussion that day because my kids' whole class watches it. They're third graders, and they love it. And it's not just because I'm whatever. But they watch it. And there was a scene where Neil was going to get into the pool with Alex, and they initially wanted a shot from the back, of him disrobing, and we talked to them and said, listen, we have a huge audience under 14 years old who are watching. So, Matt will do that privately. But
Perfect. Yeah. For the right.
But it's great that people can watch it with their family.
$5.
And you know, the demographic of the show really always like blows my mind. I mean, you know, I've run into, you know, older gentlemen, Caucasian gentlemen, you know, he said, hey, aren't you on that, what, you know, white collar show? And then, you know, I was walking back to the trailers once with Matt, and he had his Michael Jackson moment. It's a young girl, about 13, 14, African-American girl. She saw him, she's like, oh my God! And Matt, he was like, well, he's on the show too. She's, it was great to see. I mean, I was like, you know, it just runs the gamut of people who enjoy the show and really, you know, get into the characters.
It was my mom, okay? It's hard to talk about.
All right.